We've all returned something before. A shirt that didn't fit, a gadget that didn't work. But some people, they push the limits of common sense. Imagine demanding a refund for an eaten rotisserie chicken, a haunted Ouija board, or a refrigerator that was too cold. Yes, these things actually happened. So grab your receipt, brace yourself, and let's get into one of the most ridiculous returns ever attempted. 1. A woman in Texas once tried to return a half-eaten wedding cake, claiming the marriage didn't work out. When the store refused, she argued that the cake had a bad energy and demanded a refund. Imagine trying to return heartbreak like it's a faulty toaster. 2. A man walked into a hardware store and attempted to return an entire backyard fence. The catch? It was already installed at his house for over 5 years. When questioned, he insisted it was defective because his dog had figured out how to escape. 3. A customer once returned a Christmas tree in January, fully dead, and demanded a refund because it didn't last long enough. The store actually gave them their money back, proving that sometimes persistence pays off in the weirdest ways. 4. A man tried to return a fan because it blew his papers off the desk and ruined my workday. He insisted the store should have warned him about its hurricane-level power, despite setting it to the highest speed himself. 5. A guy in New York returned a half-used roll of duct tape, saying it didn't hold things together like in the commercials. I mean, what exactly was he trying to build? A bridge? 6. A man once tried to return a pair of shoes. After running a marathon in them, they were visibly worn out, but he claimed they were defective because they made his feet hurt. Sir, that's not the shoe's fault. That's just running. 7. A customer brought back a used air mattress saying it wasn't comfortable enough. The kicker? The store discovered it had been used at a 3-day music festival. Nothing says used beyond returnable, like grass stains and a faint smell of regret. 8. Someone once tried to return a used coffin. The reason? We didn't end up needing it. No further explanation was given, and honestly, I don't think anyone wanted to ask. 9. A woman returned a gallon of milk, complaining that it had expired. Sounds normal, right? Except it had expired 2 months ago. She argued that the store should have warned her not to wait so long to drink it. 10. A guy tried to return a tent to an outdoor store, saying it leaked in the rain. The store checked it and found it was filled with holes, because he had cut out parts of the fabric to make himself a makeshift rain poncho. 11. A woman returned a used pregnancy test because she didn't like the result. She argued that the product was defective and demanded a refund. When the cashier tried to explain how pregnancy tests actually work, she doubled down, saying, "Well, maybe it just wasn't accurate." I mean, sure, lady. Maybe science was just having an off day? 12. A guy tried to return a suit he had worn to a wedding, explaining that he wasn't planning to stay the whole night. His excuse? I only danced in it for a few hours, so it's practically new. When the store rejected his return, he muttered, "Guess I'll have to crash another wedding to make it worth the price." That's some top-tier financial planning. 13. Someone attempted to return an empty bottle of wine, claiming it gave them a headache. When the cashier pointed out that drinking an entire bottle might have had something to do with it, the customer nodded and said, "Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's defective." You have to admire the commitment to shifting blame. 14. A man brought back a used frying pan, saying it didn't cook food the way he liked. The confused employee asked what exactly was wrong. His response? "My pancakes came out too thick, and that's never happened before." Sir, that's not a frying pan problem. That's a read the recipe problem. 15. A customer once tried to return a Halloween costume on November 1st, saying it was too scary for their party. Apparently, their friends refused to take pictures with them, and that somehow made it the store's fault. Terrifying enough to ruin the night? Mission accomplished. 16. A woman returned a vacuum cleaner because it sucked too much. The employee was about to explain that this was, in fact, the vacuum's primary job, but she cut him off, saying, "No, you don't get it. It's too powerful. I almost lost a sock." The best part? She asked if they had a gentler model. For what? Whisper cleaning? 17. A guy tried to return a used fishing rod, complaining that he didn't catch anything. He even waved the receipt in frustration, saying, "I followed the instructions, but it just didn't work." The employee, trying to keep a straight face, asked if he had considered fish being unpredictable creatures. The man scoffed and stormed out, muttering, "Scam!" Yep, someone really tried to get a refund because fish have free will. 18. A woman attempted to return a pair of gardening gloves because they didn't stop thorns from pricking her. Turns out, she had worn them to trim her neighbor's overgrown rose bush and expected them to act like armor. 19. Someone returned an inflatable mattress because it deflated overnight. When the store checked, they found the air valve had been left wide open. The customer, unwilling to admit their mistake, simply nodded and said, "Yeah, well, I just don't trust it anymore." That's right, because once an air mattress betrays you, there's no going back. 20. A woman brought back a blender because it didn't summon a chef. She thought blending her ingredients would magically produce a gourmet meal, and when it just made a smoothie, she demanded her money back. "Where's the 5-star service?" she cried. "Lady, it's not a genie in a bottle." 21. A guy attempted to return a set of golf clubs after a weekend tournament, claiming they were unlucky. He insisted that his swings had been off ever since he bought them and demanded a refund. When the store refused, he sighed and said, "Fine, I'll just donate them to some other poor soul who doesn't know they're cursed." Sir, it's called practice. 22. A man tried to return a treadmill, arguing that it didn't help him lose weight. When asked if he had actually used it, he admitted, "No, but I thought just having it would work." He even compared it to a lucky charm, saying, "You don't have to rub a rabbit's foot for it to work, right?" I'm not sure what's worse, the logic or the fact that he thought it might actually convince someone. 23. Someone returned a wall clock because time moved too fast. When asked for clarification, they said, "Ever since I put it up, I feel like my days are just flying by." The cashier, barely containing laughter, simply replied, "That's how time works." The customer, unfazed, nodded and said, "Yeah, but I didn't expect to notice it so much." 24. A woman tried to return a scuba mask in the dead of winter, claiming it ruined her ski trip. Turns out she wore it on the slopes instead of goggles because she thought it'd make her look like an underwater explorer. When she couldn't see through the fog, she blamed the store. 25. A man returned a telescope because it didn't show alien spaceships. He spent 3 nights staring at the sky, expecting a close encounter. And when all he saw were stars, he stormed in yelling, "This thing's broken. It's hiding the truth." Sir, maybe the aliens just didn't show up. 26. A woman brought back a self-cleaning oven, furious that it didn't wash her dishes too. She argued that anything self-cleaning should handle all her kitchen chores. "What's next? I have to mop the floor myself," she huffed. "Yes, ma'am. Welcome to reality." 27. Someone returned a scented candle because it didn't smell like the name suggested. What was the scent? Ocean breeze. Their complaint? "I took it into my bathroom and it smelled nothing like the beach." Where's the salty air? The sound of seagulls? Ma'am, unless you were hoping for an actual seagull attack in your house, I think the candle did its job. 28. A man returned a backpack after his hiking trip, claiming it was too heavy when full. When the cashier asked what he had packed, he replied, "Oh, just normal things. A tent, some canned food, a full cast-iron skillet." Sir, I think we found the problem, and it's not the backpack. 29. A woman walked in holding a completely dried-out Christmas tree in May. Her complaint? It was too messy. She then tried to argue that because it was nature's fault, the store should at least meet her halfway and refund half of the price. Look, I respect the negotiation skills, but at some point even Santa would say, "Let it go." 30. A customer returned a vacuum because it was too quiet, so I didn't trust it. Apparently, they were used to the deafening roar of their old vacuum, and this one felt like it wasn't doing anything. You'd think an improvement would be a good thing, but no. Some people just really need their appliances to scream at them. 31. A guy returned a pair of jeans claiming they were defective. His proof? I saw another guy wearing the same ones and they fit him better. So naturally, the pants were to blame. If only refunds worked for bad fashion choices in general. 32. Someone brought back a toaster because it didn't toast in even numbers. Confused, the cashier asked for clarification. Well, sometimes it pops up after 1 minute, sometimes after 3. It's supposed to follow even numbers. Sir, I don't think you need a refund. I think you need an exorcist for your toaster. 33. A woman tried to return a yoga mat because it wasn't improving her flexibility. The store associate politely asked if she had been using it for stretches, to which she replied, "I sat on it a lot." So, just to clarify, she thought absorbing the essence of flexibility through osmosis was a thing. 34. A man returned a raincoat after wearing it in a storm, saying it was too waterproof. Apparently, he was expecting breathable rain protection, but instead, it kept all the water off me and made me feel trapped. Sir, what did you think a raincoat was supposed to do? Let some of the rain in, just for balance? 35. A woman stormed into a store and tried to return a pair of noise-canceling headphones. The issue? They cancel out too much noise. She claims she missed an entire conversation at a coffee shop because of them. Ma'am, that's literally the point. 36. A guy attempted to return an alarm clock because it was too aggressive. He explained that every morning it startled him too much, leaving him in a bad mood. "I need something that gently suggests I wake up," he explained. "Buddy, you don't need a refund. You need a life coach." 37. A woman returned a cookbook because the recipes didn't come out right. When asked if she followed the instructions, she frowned and said, "Well, not exactly. I just felt like some ingredients didn't belong." So, just to summarize, she ignored the recipes, then blamed the book. That's like failing a math test and demanding a refund from the textbook. 38. A man tried to return a set of kitchen knives after a year of use. The problem? They got dull over time. When the store associate explained that knives require sharpening, he blinked and said, "Oh, I thought they just stayed sharp forever." Sir, that's not how physics works. 39. A couple returned a mattress after 6 months, claiming it had too many memories. The cashier, bracing for something dramatic, asked what they meant. "Well, we got engaged while lying on it, then broke up on it later. It's cursed now." You know what? Fair enough. 40. A man brought in a garden hose, dripping wet, and plopped it onto the counter. His issue? "It made my hands all wet when I used it." The employee slowly blinked. "Sir, it's a hose." The customer shrugged. "Yeah, but I wasn't expecting that much water." I have no words. 41. A man returned a chainsaw because it didn't carve ice sculptures. He saw it in a movie once and thought it'd turn his freezer cubes into art. When it just made a mess, he demanded a refund, saying, "This isn't Hollywood grade." Buddy, neither is your imagination. 42. Someone walked in with an empty birdcage demanding a refund. The reason? The bird flew away. The best part? They genuinely believed the store should take responsibility for their failure to close the door. I'd love to see that logic applied to a car dealership. 43. A woman returned a scented lotion, furiously insisting that it attracted bees. When the employee asked if she had checked the ingredients, she gasped, "It has honey in it." "Yes, ma'am. That's usually how honey vanilla works." 44. A guy tried to return a lawnmower because his grass didn't look like the commercial. Apparently, he expected a pristine golf course-level lawn instantly. When asked if he had watered, fertilized, or, taken care of the grass, he said, "I thought the mower did all that." I hate to break it to him, but the mower is not a wizard. 45. A customer walked in with a box of 500 disposable plastic forks. The reason for the return? They're not dishwasher safe. Sir, I think you've misunderstood the entire concept of disposable. 46. A woman returned a book because the ending was sad. She demanded a refund, saying, "No one told me it would make me feel things." I get it, emotions are hard. But what did she expect? A warning label? Caution. May contain unexpected depth. 47. A woman tried to return a drone because it didn't deliver her groceries. She thought it was a personal shopping assistant, not just a flying camera. I sent it to the store, and it never came back, she complained. Ma'am, that's not how drones work. It's not your errand boy. 48. Someone tried to return a pair of rain boots because they got wet. The employee, clearly struggling, asked, "Do you mean inside the boots?" The man shook his head. No, just in general. Yes, sir, that's how rain works. 49. A woman demanded a refund for a pack of AA batteries, saying they ran out of power after a few months. When the cashier explained that all batteries eventually die, she sighed dramatically and said, "Yeah, but I just expected more from them." That's a new one. Emotional disappointment in batteries. 50. A guy returned a skateboard because it didn't make him look cool. He tried it at the skate park, wiped out in front of some teenagers, and decided the board was to blame. Sorry, man, but no refund policy covers bruised egos. 51. A man tried to return a snow shovel in August. His reasoning? I don't need it anymore. Well, no kidding. When the cashier explained that seasons tend to repeat, he shrugged and said, "Yeah, but that's a future me problem." 52. A man returned a ceiling fan because it didn't cool his coffee. He installed it over his kitchen table, expecting it to chill his mug, and when it just spun uselessly, he dragged it back to the store. "What's the point of air if it doesn't multitask?" he grumbled. 53. A woman tried to return a mirror because she didn't like how she looked in it. Look, I get bad hair days, but the store can't fix your reflection. Only your therapist can. 54. A guy walked in holding a massive umbrella. His complaint? It was too big. He opened it inside the store, knocking over a display rack, and yelled, "See? Sir, I think the real issue here is spatial awareness." 55. Someone returned a slow cooker, saying it took too long to cook. When reminded that slow is in the name, they muttered, "Yeah, but I thought that was just a suggestion." If only there were some kind of faster cooking device. You know, like a stove? 56. A man walked in with a used litter box. "I want a refund," he said. "My cat refuses to use it." The cashier hesitated before asking, "Sir, do you want us to speak to your cat about it?" The man just nodded seriously, as if that was a perfectly reasonable request. 57. A woman tried to return a pack of balloons. The reason? They popped too easily. When asked what happened, she admitted she had stabbed one with a fork just to test its durability. Ma'am, that's not a product defect, that's physics. 58. A guy returned a beach towel, furious. His complaint? It got covered in sand. When the employee reminded him that he had used it on a beach, he sighed and muttered, "Yeah, I just thought it would, repel it." Good luck finding a sandproof towel, buddy. 59. A guy tried to return a metal detector because it didn't find his lost keys. He spent hours sweeping his backyard, but when it only dug up bottle caps, he accused the store of selling him a treasure tease. Sir, it's not a psychic, it's just beeping at metal. 60. A customer brought in a baby stroller, completely wrecked. His reason? It wasn't strong enough. Turns out he had used it to transport firewood. When the store refused the refund, he shook his head and muttered, "Well, that's just false advertising." Sir, it says baby stroller, not lumberjack edition. 61. A man returned a pet goldfish in a Ziploc bag of water. His complaint? It just sits there. When the employee delicately asked, "Sir, is it alive?" The man frowned, poked the bag and said, "I don't know, but I feel like I should get store credit either way." 62. A woman brought back a birthday cake, half eaten. Her issue? It wasn't as moist as I wanted. When the employee pointed out that she had already eaten most of it, she simply said, "Yeah, but I really wanted to like it." That's some next-level optimism. 63. A guy returned a karaoke machine because it didn't make him sound like a rock star. He admitted he sang off-key but argued, "The commercials promised I'd impress my friends, not scare them away." 64. A man stormed in with a bag of ice. The problem? It melted. The cashier, trying to keep it together, asked how long he had left it in his car. Like 4 hours, but that's not the point. Ah, yes. Clearly the store should have sold him eternal ice. 65. A woman returned a sleeping bag because it didn't stop the bears from sniffing around her tent. She thought it was some kind of wilderness force field, not just a cozy sack. "I paid good money to not be bear bait," she yelled. "Ma'am, that's a horror movie refund, not a store one." 66. A woman demanded a refund for an engagement ring, saying it didn't work. Confused, the jeweler asked what she meant. "Well, I said no, so obviously it's defective." "Ma'am, I don't think the ring was the problem in that situation." 67. A guy returned an electric toothbrush because it tickled too much. He admitted that he had never used an electric toothbrush before and wasn't prepared for the experience. Honestly, fair enough, but maybe that's a you problem, sir. 68. Someone brought in an aquarium, completely empty. His complaint? "My fish died." The store explained that they didn't sell live fish, just the tank. "Yeah," he said, "but they should have warned me that it wouldn't come with fish." What was he expecting, a pre-loaded aquarium? 69. A man tried to return a tent because it got too dark inside. The employee blinked. "Sir, that's called shade." The man crossed his arms. "Yeah, but it's like too shady." So just to clarify, you want a tent that blocks some sunlight, but not all of it? 70. A woman brought back a coffee maker because it made coffee too hot. When the cashier asked what temperature she expected, she sighed and said, "I don't know, like drinkable right away?" "Ma'am, that's called letting it cool down." 71. A man tried to return a refrigerator saying it was too cold. The employee, confused, asked if he had adjusted the temperature settings. "Yeah, but when I put food in, it still gets colder." "Sir, I have great news for you about how fridges work." 72. A man brought back a smoke detector, claiming it didn't put out the fire. His kitchen caught a blaze, and he stood there waiting for it to do something besides beep. "What's the point of detecting if it doesn't fight?" he argued. "Sir, it's not a firefighter in disguise." 73. A guy brought in a jigsaw puzzle, completely assembled. His issue? It was too hard to put together. The employee pointed out that he had finished it. The man sighed and said, "Yeah, but it wasn't fun." "Well, sir, that sounds like a you problem." 74. A customer returned a flashlight because it only works in the dark. When the store employee politely explained that this was the entire purpose of a flashlight, the customer frowned. "Yeah, but why can't it be useful all the time?" "Sir, what you're looking for is called a lamp." 75. A woman returned a yoga DVD because it didn't make her thinner. When asked how many times she had used it, she sighed. "I watched it twice. Watching counts, right?" "No, ma'am. That's called sitting." 76. A man walked into a furniture store carrying a completely destroyed couch. His complaint? "My dog chewed it up." The employee, bracing for the inevitable nonsense, asked, "And you think that's our fault?" The man nodded. "Yeah, shouldn't furniture be, like, pet-proof?" "Buddy, even steel wouldn't survive your demon dog." 77. A customer returned a bag of potato chips, claiming they were mostly air. The employee opened a fresh bag right in front of him and showed that all chip bags have air for cushioning. The customer gasped like he had just discovered a government conspiracy. "Wait, they're all like this?" 78. A woman returned a magic 8-ball, complaining that it didn't predict anything correctly. She explained that she had asked if she would get a promotion, and the 8-ball said, "Ask again later." She did, multiple times. It kept changing answers. "Ma'am, it's a toy, not a career advisor." 79. A man returned a toaster because it didn't make toast fast enough. When asked how long it took, he replied, "Like a whole minute." "Sir, if you need toast in under 60 seconds, maybe just eat bread?" 80. A woman returned a portable speaker because it didn't play music she liked. She didn't connect it to anything, just expected it to magically know her taste. When it stayed silent, she marched in saying, "This thing's got no soul." "Lady, it's not a DJ with a playlist." 81. A guy returned an inflatable pool float, claiming it didn't work in the bathtub. He had tried to lounge in it while taking a bath and was furious when it wouldn't fit. "Sir, I think you're looking for a spa day, not an inflatable flamingo." 82. A man brought in a completely melted chocolate bar demanding a refund. The reason? "It got ruined when I left it in my car all afternoon." The cashier just stared at him. "Sir, it's chocolate." The man shrugged. "Yeah, but they should warn people that it melts." "You mean like every human already knows?" 83. A woman demanded a refund for a Ouija board because it didn't summon anything. "I followed all the instructions," she insisted. "Lit candles, dimmed the lights. Nothing happened." "Ma'am, I hate to say this, but I don't think you can return it just because ghosts don't want to talk to you." 84. A man returned a snow globe because the snow falls too fast. "I was hoping for a gentle, relaxing snowfall," he explained, shaking it aggressively. "But this just dumps everything in like 3 seconds. It's too much." "Sir, what you're asking for is called actual winter." 85. Someone tried to return a glow stick because it stopped glowing after a few hours. They demanded a refund, saying, if it's not permanent, they should call it something else, like a glow quitter. 86. A man tried to return an electric blanket because it didn't work during a power outage. The employee, trying to remain calm, explained that all electric blankets require electricity. The man shook his head. "Well, that's a flaw, isn't it?" "Sir, I think you're looking for a regular blanket." 87. A woman stormed into a shoe store, holding up a single high heel. "I want a refund," she yelled. "The issue? I lost the other one at a party." The cashier hesitated. "So, you lost the shoe and you think that's our problem?" The woman crossed her arms. "If it was a good shoe, it wouldn't have fallen off." "Ma'am, are you Cinderella?" 88. A guy returned a pair of binoculars, complaining that they don't work indoors. The cashier, confused, asked what he meant. "Well, I tried to use them to watch TV from my couch, but it just made everything worse." "Sir, that's not how optics work." 89. A woman brought in an empty spray bottle. Her issue? It ran out too fast. The employee asked how often she used it. "Well, I misted my plants every 5 minutes for 3 days straight." "Ma'am, I think the real problem here is plant obsession." 90. A man tried to return a robot vacuum because it didn't walk the dog. He thought smart home meant it'd handle all his chores. So when it just sucked up crumbs, he brought it back, muttering, "Next you'll tell me it can't do laundry either." Yeah. Exactly. 91. A woman brought back a picnic basket because it didn't keep the ants away. She argued that a proper picnic basket should come with some kind of bug shield, as if it's the store's job to fight nature. 92. A woman tried to return a bottle of perfume, saying it didn't attract men the way it promised. She sprayed herself with it in the store, looked around dramatically, and then sighed. "See? Nothing's happening." "Ma'am, I don't think the problem is the perfume." 93. A man returned a pair of sunglasses because they made everything darker. The cashier stared. "Sir, that's what sunglasses do." The man huffed. "Yeah, but I didn't think they'd make it this dark." That's called functioning properly. 94. A woman demanded a refund for her inflatable hot tub because the bubbles weren't as fancy as a real spa. When asked what she meant, she sighed. "It just felt like air." "Ma'am, what exactly did you think was making the bubbles?" 95. A guy walked in with a broken umbrella. The reason? It collapsed in strong winds. The cashier asked how strong the wind was. He replied, "Like hurricane strong." "Sir, no umbrella is designed for Category 4 storms." 96. A man brought back an empty hamster cage, looking furious. "I want my money back." The employee hesitated. "What happened?" The man sighed dramatically. I bought the cage, but then I realized I don't want a hamster. 97. A customer tried to return a Christmas sweater in July. His reason? It's not Christmas anymore. The cashier politely explained that time keeps moving forward, but the man just shook his head. That's your opinion. 98. A woman tried to return a pillow because it didn't give her good dreams. The employee, unsure how to respond, asked what kind of dreams she was expecting. I don't know, like adventure stuff, flying. Ma'am, that's not a pillow problem. That's just your brain. 99. A man returned a smartwatch, saying it was too judgmental. When asked to elaborate, he fumed, "It kept telling me to stand up and exercise." Sir, that's literally its job. 100. Someone returned a welcome mat saying it was too friendly. They explained, "I don't actually want to welcome people, I just needed something for my doorway." I mean, okay? 101. A man stormed into a store with a completely shattered phone. His issue? I dropped it off my balcony and it broke. That shouldn't happen. The cashier, baffled, asked how high the balcony was. 7th floor, the man said. But I saw a video once where a phone survived that, so I think this one is defective. Sir, I think your expectations are defective. Congrats, you made it to the end. Welcome to the Factomer Club. We've just witnessed some of the most ridiculous returns ever attempted, but now it's your turn. Have you ever seen someone try to return something insane? Drop your story in the comments. And if you're one of the elite who watched all the way through, prove it by commenting "no receipt, no problem" below. Let's see who the real legends are.